Applied Linguistics Group uploaded this video for BS English students. Dr. KHALID MALIK, the founder, has a PhD in Applied Linguistics to Seoul. He taught at many foreign universities with 25 research papers, 6 books on linguistics, and has a postdoc fellowship abroad. Join Applied Linguistics Group at youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani or use a QR code to join our Facebook group at https://www.facebook.com/groups/329136464414908 BS English. Course title: Introduction to Phonetics and Phonology. Level: BS second semester. Course code: L105. Question 2. Prefixes and suffixes in English reading and speaking. Prefixes and suffixes are short syllables added to the beginning or end of words to change their meaning and /or function in a sentence. In this article, you will be introduced to the meaning and definition of a prefix and a suffix, along with an extensive list of base words and their prefixes and suffixes. You will also learn how the base word and the word with the prefix or suffix change meaning and function. What is a prefix and a suffix? Meaning and definition. A prefix is a short morphological unit that is added to the beginning of a root word in order to alter its meaning and /or function. It can be just a single letter or 2 to 5 letters. The Oxford Learner's Dictionary defines a prefix as a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning, such as un in unhappy and pre in preheat. A suffix, on the other hand, is a short morphological unit that follows the root word. In other words, it is added to the end of the root word. A suffix can contain 2 to 4 letters. It is defined as a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word to make another word, such as lie in quickly or ness in sadness, according to the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. Spelling rules to be followed when adding a prefix or a suffix. The construction of new words from existing words in English always includes a change in their spellings. This is why there are spelling rules in English to help you easily remember and use them. Likewise, there are some basic spelling rules that you will have to apply when adding suffixes or prefixes. When adding a prefix, you need not make any changes to the spelling of the base word, you can just write the prefix followed by the base word. For example, popular unpopular. In the case of prefixes such as non and ex, you might have to add a hyphen in between the prefix and the root word. For example, non-violence, ex-serviceman. When adding a suffix, the spelling of the root word might / might not change. For all words that end with consonants other than y, you can simply add the suffix to the end of the root word. For example, truth truthful, quick quickly. For words ending with y, you will have to remove the y, add an I and then add suffixes such as l or li. For instance, try trial, happy happily. An exception to the above rule is in the case of monosyllabic words without vowels. For example, shy shyly, sly slyly. There are words to which ity is added instead of tie. This is for words that end with an e. The e is omitted and ity is added. For example, sensitive sensitivity, creative creativity. This is also the case when the suffix l is already added to the base word. For example, sentimental sentimentality, functional functionality. For most monosyllabic words and some disyllabic words ending in e, you will have to remove the e and add suffixes such as able and age. For example, use usage, move movable, love lovable, adore adorable, relate relatable. There are some exceptions to the above rule. For instance, like likable, manage manageable, recharge rechargeable. The same is the case with words that take the suffix able. For example, sense sensible, collapse collapsible. With suffixes such as shn and shorn, you will have to omit the last consonant and the silent e. This is in the case of words ending in de or te. For example, divide division, fixate fixation, ignite ignition. When only the silent E has to be omitted before adding tion, you will have to add an A before the suffix tion. This applies to words ending in re or se. For instance, converse conversation, mechanism mechanization, admire admiration. When adding a and ist to the adjective, it forms the comparative and superlative degrees of comparison. Some monosyllabic adjectives would require you to double the final consonant before adding the suffix. You can learn more about this by going through the article on degrees of comparison. For words ending with y, when adding suffixes like ness, you will have to change the y into I and then add ness. For example, happy happiness, lively liveliness. Words such as dry and shy do not follow the same pattern. For example, shyness, dryness. Sometimes, you will have to add li and then ness to the end of the root word. For instance, clean cleanliness, kind kindliness / kindness. When adding a prefix and a suffix, the above said spelling rules of prefixes and suffixes apply. For example, success unsuccessful, happy unhappily. List of commonly used prefixes and suffixes with examples. The most common prefixes are as follows. Abiotic, atypical. Undo, unfold. Impolite, immature. Intolerant, indisciplined. Illogical, illegible. Irregular, irresponsible. Decode, distress. Redo, reappear. Disinterested, disobedient. Misunderstand, misinterpret. Proactive. Subconscious, substandard. Preset, predetermine. Non-existent, non-violence. Antifungal, antiviral. Postmodern, post-operative. Interdependent, interrelated. Check out the prefixes list for more examples. The most common suffixes are y, honesty, noisy. Lie, quickly, softly. Tie, loyalty, sincerity. Ry, bravery, mockery. Larger, brighter. Al, parental, bacterial. Ist, fastest, biggest. Age, usage, breakage. Trying, binding. Full, truthful, fruitful. Meant, shipment, basement. Ness, happiness, blindness. Able, bearable, eatable. Able, sensible, convertible. Less, fearless, baseless. Ship, friendship, internship. Hood, parenthood, brotherhood. Shorn, conversion, invasion. Tion, invention, exhibition. Frequently asked questions on prefix and suffix. Q1. What is a prefix? A prefix is a short morphological unit that is added to the beginning of a root word in order to alter its meaning and / or function. It can be just a single letter or 2 to 5 letters. Q2. What is the definition of a prefix? The Oxford Learner's Dictionary defines a prefix as a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning, such as un in unhappy and pre in preheat. Q3. What is a suffix? A suffix, on the other hand, is a short morphological unit that follows the root word. In other words, it is added to the end of the root word. A suffix can contain 2 to 4 letters. Q4. What is the definition of a suffix? A suffix is defined as a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word to make another word, such as lie in quickly or ness in sadness, according to the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. Q5. List some common prefixes. Abiotic, atypical. Undo, unfold. Impolite, immature. Intolerant, indisciplined. Illogical, illegible. Irregular, irresponsible. Decode, distress. Redo, reappear. Disinterested, disobedient. Misunderstand, misinterpret. Q6. List some common suffixes. Honesty, noisy. Lie, quickly, softly. Loyalty, sincerity. Bravery, mockery. Truthful, fruitful. Meant, shipment, basement. Happiness, blindness. Able, bearable, eatable. Sensible, convertible. Fearless, baseless. Further details about suffixes and prefixes. Improve your English easily by understanding prefixes and suffixes. Paying attention to prefixes and suffixes certainly has its advantages. Once you've mastered them, you will be formulating new words and improving your English vocabulary in no time. Altering words in English usually seems simple enough, such as changing the verb run to running. What makes prefixes and suffixes more complicated is that they can completely alter the meaning of a word. When you take the word ordinary and add the prefix extra, you end up with a word which is the opposite of ordinary, extraordinary. The use of extra here can be confusing, as it would usually mean more than one, such as the sentence "He ordered extra bread to his soup." How can we cut down any confusion in regard to prefixes and suffixes? It can be done, but first we need to break the subject down. Death by affixation. Affixation sounds like a scary word, but it doesn't mean to do harm to someone. Affixation is the process of creating a word by using the addition of a prefix or suffix. A lot of English words are made, and still made, using this process. Starting with the roots. Before expanding on what prefix and suffix mean, you must understand and know how root words are used. This may all be Greek to you, but many English root words come from the Greek language, such as the following examples. December, which means 10 in English. Psyche, which means spirit in English. Therm, which means heat in English. Many other root words in English come from the Latin language. The Latin language was created during the rule of the Roman Empire and is around 2000 years old. Latin was considered the language of the Church and to this day is taught in schools in England, particularly in private and grammar schools. Here are 3 examples of Latin root words. Uni, which means 1 in English. Tree, which means 3 in English. Both aqua and ac mean water in English. Now that we understand what root words are, and where many of them come from, it's time for some affixation. Prefixes. You add a prefix to the front of a root word. This is to modify the root word slightly, or even to completely change the meaning of the root word. If we look at the word house, we immediately understand this is a property which someone can live in. By adding a prefix, we can modify the word house to give a little more detail, such as outhouse, comprised of the word house and the prefix out. This is easy enough to understand, and below we have another example. Reapply, comprised of the word apply and the prefix re, which means again. Example sentence: they previously refused to give him a job, but nevertheless he decided to reapply anyway. As discussed, we can also use a prefix to completely change the meaning of a root word. We use the root word social to mean talking to people, getting on harmoniously, or also to have a good time, such as the below sentence. My daughter said she had a wonderful social life since moving to Bangkok. If we add the prefix anti, this creates a word which is the total opposite to social. The word antisocial has become an increasingly popular word in England in the last 20 years. It is seen to mean behavior that is damaging, offensive, or criminal. See the below example sentence, which may make this a little clearer. There has been an increase of antisocial behavior in Manchester during November. Crimes such as vandalism to property are on the rise. Suffixes. The use of a suffix is very similar to the use of prefixes. The root word is affected by the suffix which is placed at the end of the root word. In adding a suffix, the root word can take on many different qualities. As an example, the suffix ish can be used to describe a person's personality. She is very childish at times. The suffix ish added to the word child. I can't believe how selfish he can be. The suffix ish added to the word self. Here, the suffix ish is meaning that someone's personality has a particular quality. It has recently become a common word to give a scale on someone's reaction. Janice, was your wife angry when you told her you were leaving her for me, John? John, well, ish. She wasn't too bothered as she mentioned she's been having an affair with our gardener for the last 10 years. Affixes old and new. We've looked at examples of prefixes and suffixes, and seen how they can affect root words. As mentioned, many English root words often originate from Greek and Latin words. These languages are as old as time, but new words are providing the catalyst for more and more inventions of new prefixes and suffixes. This is down to the rapid advance of technology and the increasing use of computer speak. Everybody knew what a cigarette was until we began to see people smoking electronic cigarettes. I'm old enough to remember when people began to talk about electronic mail and there was talk about people visiting cafes where you could use a computer to access the internet. Prefixes have now appeared to help shorten words for these items such as e-cigarettes, email, cybercaf. I'm sure we'll live to see more prefixes for new technology to come, but what will it be? E-toilet, cyber-chicken, or e-plants? Who knows what's coming soon? Suggested books on prefixes and suffixes by Dr. KHALID. Practice Makes Perfect by Dorothy Richmond. Prefixes and Suffixes by Tricia Corlella Jones. Prefixes and Suffixes by Anne Heinrichs. The Structure of Words by Liz Miles. Applied Linguistics Group uploaded this video for BS English students. Dr. KHALID MALIK, the founder, has a PhD in Applied Linguistics to Seoul. He taught at many foreign universities with 25 research papers, 6 books on linguistics, and in a postdoc fellowship abroad. Join Applied Linguistics Group at youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani or use a QR code to join our Facebook group at https://www.facebook.com/groups/329136464149083.